Okay, we're good. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Last day of the year. Welcome to the agenda meeting. Go ahead, Tony. What's that? Happy New Year. Yeah, last business day of the year. Yes, last business day of the year.
Oh my gosh, you just lost a couple of days.
That's okay. All right.
Okay, good morning, Chairman and Commissioners.
Yes,
this is the agenda review for next Wednesday, January 3rd, and I will kick it over to Nicole for county announcements.
Good morning, everyone. We will do a reminder about Christmas tree recycling that is going on now through January 22nd. We have 22 locations around Wichita and Sedgwick County. The other thing that we'll do is we'll do a quick 2023 year in review to show the highlights that we have accomplished in the last year. A few reminders. County offices will be closed Monday, January 1st. Emergency services are always available by calling or texting 911. And also, again, this year, the 911 non-emergency line will be open. You can find information about that on our website and on our social platforms. That number, if someone needs it, is 316-290-1011. And again, that's for non-emergency situations. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I did talk to Nicole about the idea of year in review, so I haven't seen it, but it'd be interested to see what the comms team put together. So thank you.
Okay, we will have one proclamation, and that'll be declaring Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and Sharon Van Horn with the Wichita Metro Crime Commission will be here to accept that. We have three items for appointments. The first one will be to accept the resignation of Bill Hammers, who is on Commissioner Lopez's Citizens Advisory Board. Second item will be to appoint Rebecca Tang, who is on Commissioner Howell's Citizen Advisory Board. And then the third item will be a nomination for Scott Stiles to the Wichita Airport Advisory Board, being nominated by Commissioner Howell. Okay, so we'll move into new business. We have a couple items. First item will be adoption of the final version of the 2024 legislative platform. And then we have reconsideration of one item of the Board of Bids and Contracts, and that is for Webb Road between 79th and 87th Street South. And that's a Public Works item. And Lynn Packer's on if you have any questions on that particular item. And then we'll move into consent. We have an easement for right-of-way for a bridge on 71st Street South between 119th and 135th Street West. That's in District 2 and District 3. And then item H, that's a CIP amendment, increasing construction funds for a project that's on Webb Road between 87th and 79th Street South. So if you see items F and H, those are connected there. And then item I, that's a request for a budget transfer from the technology contingency to two IT budgets. That's for the ERP and then the IT application fund centers. One is to upgrade E-line, and then the second one is for the ERP financial system. And I might hand it over to Mike if he has anything additional he needs to add to that.
Nothing additional. Just happy to answer any questions you have about it.
Good.
Okay. And then items J through O, those are typical business items on the agenda. Okay. And then we do have a fire district agenda. We've got two items, and those are on consent. The first item is to approve reclassification of Fire District 1 Operation Division Chief positions, which there are 6. And that is to move those to non-exempt positions. And then the second item that was just added recently, that is to transfer funds to, let me get over, I have a better example here of what I want to say. That's to transfer funds from the fire district contingency to personnel and as well as contractuals. And that's a total of $601,805. So Rusty's here if you have any additional questions on that particular item.
Just, it's not about the same amount as last year.
This is,
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I don't recall what year-end transfers we did. This is to cover the last payroll for 2023. Since the final pay period ends this Sunday.
Okay.
They have about 173,000 in personnel in their budget currently. They had another 87,000 that was associated with personnel, but that's not enough to cover the full payroll. So 550 will be transferred from contingency into personnel to pay the final payroll for the year. And the other 51,800 will be transferred into contractuals to pay their annual or their monthly administrative fees.
So the 601,000, is that for both together?
That's together. 550 for personnel, 51,800 for
Okay.
administrative charges.
So on the administrative charges, the total for that, is that about the same as last year? Or can we find that out?
Kevin, do you know the
It's about the same.
microphone, please? You can just sit here by mic if you want.
Kevin Nelson, Deputy Chief. So I think it's about the same as last year. It may fluctuate just a little bit, but it's not wildly different.
Okay. And that's just getting, I'm just thinking about the work we've done on the idea of moving some of the administrative services over to third party discussion. That's something still ongoing. We'll probably continue to work on that. Now we have the advisory council in place. I think that's something we will probably be talking about soon. So I have an interest in that number. I guess I'll just say that. And then Chairman, I have a couple questions on the previous agenda, whenever you're ready.
Yes.
Just again, I'm not familiar with this reconsideration of minutes and the construction increase for the 87th Street 79th Street Webb Road improvement. Can someone help me understand that a little bit better?
I'm going to defer to Lynn, who is on via Zoom, if he can answer some questions there.
Lynn,
Good morning, Commissioner. Lynn Packer, Public Works. The increase is to cover not only the construction bid that we have, but also to cover the right-of-way we obtained for the project. We, as the entity that's letting the project, we need to be able to cover the cost of the project in its entirety. As you may recall, we do have an agreement with the city of Derby that we approved back in January of 2023 that will have them covering approximately 2/3 the cost of the project, but they are reimbursing us. So we just got to make sure we have the funds to pay for the project up front, and then we'll be reimbursed those funds throughout the project.
Okay, so the reconsideration of minutes.
This was an item that was inadvertently put onto the minutes for bid board last meeting and was removed so that we could run the CIP amendment concurrently this Wednesday.
Right, very good. And then just the last thing I'd say is that's all my questions on that issue. The legislative platform, I know we have some work we're working on. I expect potentially to come up with, I guess, confirmation from those that we're working with on Tuesday because of the holiday and all that. I'm not sure we can get any feedback from those folks until Tuesday. So there may be some late discussion that happens on Tuesday or possibly during the meeting on Wednesday. I hate to do that from the bench, but I'm concerned that we may not have much time to actually do any quick edits there at the very end based on any comments from the delegation or from the chairman, different committees that we're working with on some of those issues. And so I just caution us. I'm not sure that we're ready necessarily to adopt it in its current form. I would expect some changes on a few issues, on a few items there. So
I might just add that I followed up with Jessica this week, and she is hopeful to have something early next week from both Representative Owens and Carpenter. She said it was just a little hard to get a hold of them, but
Right.
she's hoping to have some language.
that's what I'm referring to. So that would have to be on Tuesday.
Yes.
I guess. Okay. That's what I was getting to there. And then my only other thing I mentioned is item C. I'm not sure if it matters or not, but this is the high school student position that this was handled differently by our board. This one has a date certain for the term. Everybody else doesn't have a term, but this one position, because it's a student, does have a term. I don't know if that matters to Anybody, I'm looking at Counselor.
Commissioner Howe, I might follow up more with you on that. I mean, as it's drafted right now on the agenda, it just has a term starting January 4th, 2024. But if you have something in mind, I don't want to talk to you more about that.
All right, thanks.
And I recall my student, when she graduated, she resigned and due to, I mean, it was in May and it just,
Yeah, that's the way I would handle it, except for this person's actually a younger student. They're not a senior this year, so that's why I think we need to talk about it. Thank you again.
okay.
That's all I have, sir.
Okay, well, thank you and everybody thanks for all of our first responder and 911 and corrections people that work these holidays last weekend and this weekend. It's shouldn't go unnoticed that at least we recognized your effort to continue providing emergency services and required services. So hats off to them for the jobs that they do. So, anything else? Okay. See you. Everybody, Happy New Year. Yeah. We'll see you next year.